Hey everybody, if you haven't noticed already, I changed my channel name, and to celebrate my new name, here's a new video to go along with it. You can expect a lot more from this channel in the future. Trust me, more than there's been lately. Now let's get into the video. There are a lot of items in Mario Kart, and I think it's fair to say that some are definitely better than others. Like seriously, who asked for this? I mean, come on, there are coins right here. Why does this have to be an item? Regardless of how awful some items might seem, most of the items in this game are at least a little bit useful, and that's how I'm going to be ranking the items, by their usefulness. I'm also only including the 22 Mario Kart 8 Deluxe items in this list, so that means I will not be including items like fake item boxes and Mega Mushrooms, even though they have been in past Mario Kart games. They're not in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and that's what this list is based on. Now, obviously the coin is the worst item in the game. It makes front running extremely hard, in addition to having to deal with red shells constantly coming from second place. Most of the time, it's difficult to even get enough items to block them with. Sure, you can hold on to a coin you're guaranteed a green shell or a banana, but you can still pretty much always only have one block item at a time, and that makes it nearly impossible to defend yourself from incoming red shells, and sometimes even triple red shells. And the most annoying thing about coins is that it's not even necessary to have them as an item, since you can find them basically around every corner. Now, I'm sure everyone was expecting to see this item at the bottom of the list, but while I don't think the Blooper is a good item, I think it deserves a little more credit. Well, at least in Mario Kart 8. If this was in any other Mario Kart, it would probably be at the bottom of the list. But what a lot of people don't realize about the Blooper is that it makes your kart more slippery, and on 200cc it can really throw you off, especially if you're on a course like Neo Bowser City or SNES Rainbow Road. Then it can easily send you flying off the course. I can admit that ink blocking your camera does literally nothing, but the Blooper could be a much better item if it were to affect your traction even more than it already does. But come on. There isn't a single person who isn't disappointed when they get a Blooper in Mario Kart. At number 20, we have the blue shell. Now, I'm not putting it this low because it's annoying to be hit by. It's this low because you can usually only get this item in lower positions, and usually the highest position you're going to be receiving this item is in 4th. And even at that high up, it's probably not going to affect you at all. If you're in 2nd place and a blue shell is coming, then that's a good thing. But if you get the item low down in the ranks, you're just going to throw it and it's not really going to improve your race. Nobody wants to get a blue shell, but unless you're in 1st place, you want someone else to get it. At number 19 is the Boo. There are a lot of reasons the Boo isn't very good. The worst thing about it, however, is that it's classified as a power item, meaning that you're only going to get this item if you're in a lower placement. And trust me, it's a lot worse than getting a star or a golden mushroom. And here's why. The Boo grants you invincibility, which is great. It means you're safe. But first of all, it doesn't let you drive off-road like a star, and it doesn't make you go faster like a mushroom. You just can't get hit by anything, which generally isn't necessary since you're usually only going to get this item in bottom positions. But I'm not done yet. The Boo also steals an item from someone in front of you. But you're usually not going to get anything good from this since everyone who's ahead of you will have worse items than you. So the Boo basically gives you a chance of getting a 1st place item in last place, which is completely useless. And if you wanted to try to steal a star or a bullet bill with it, you're better off just getting lucky and not getting a Boo in a last place item box. The Piranha Plant was one of the new items introduced in Mario Kart 8. Unfortunately, it's not very good. I find that it gets in my way more than it actually helps. First of all, it can't block items coming from behind. It'll only go after items in front of you, which isn't very useful since items usually tend to hit you from behind. And I know that it's an item that you get in mid-rankings, but the speed boost it gives you just isn't helpful, because it doesn't let you go off-road and it actually can kind of throw you off if you're not expecting a sudden burst of speed. The only good thing this item has to offer is that it'll grab other racers, which makes it to a star in that sense, but that small bonus is not worth it, since it's really the only thing this item is good for. Up next is the single banana. Now the banana is not a bad item. I'd say it's just about average. It's great for blocking red shells and you can throw them so they land in front of someone, but the best strategy is just to hold on to them. The problem is, aside from being a great defensive tool, they aren't good for really much else. They're pretty easy to avoid in most situations, and while they aren't bad, single bananas are just not a great item. The triple bananas are not very different from the single bananas. They have the same strengths and weaknesses as regular bananas, except, well, there are 3 of them. That doesn't make them 3 times better than single bananas though. They're only 1 spot higher on this list. Because once you lose one of them, you have a chance of getting hit, even though you still have 2 bananas left, and sometimes you can even get hit when you have all 3 of your bananas. And it's a lot easier to lose one of your 3 bananas than it is to lose a single one, because any razor or item that gets close to you can get rid of 1 or sometimes 2 of the bananas. 3 bananas are better than 1, but not by much. At number 14, we have the Boomerang Flower. This item is very similar to the green shell, but you can use it 3 times. On the downside, it doesn't bounce off of walls, and I honestly think that makes it a little worse, because it can do less damage in that way, so that's why it's 1 spot below the green shell. I mean, spoilers for number 14, I guess. Green shells are probably the most basic item in the whole game, and they're not a bad item, I would just say they're very substantial. They can block items, but they're also a very good option to hit people with, and it can be a very real threat even if you're not aiming for someone, because they can bounce off of walls and hit unlucky racers. The green shell is a great item, and it has a lot of uses, but compared to other items, it can be a little basic. Fire flowers, like boomerang flowers, are very similar to green shells. They don't slow you down as much as green shells, but this item is actually kind of broken, because you don't need to be accurate at all. If there's someone in front of you, you can just spam all of your fireballs, and you'll probably hit them. They don't have very good range though, which isn't a big deal. And finally, you can throw them backwards, so that means you can block red shells with them. And it's not as easy with a green shell or a banana, but overall, the fire flower is a very strong item. At number 12, we have the single mushroom. Having a single mushroom can put you at a great advantage, because not only does it give you a speed boost, it allows you to take shortcuts, and most of the shortcuts in Mario Kart 8 can be done with 1 mushroom. The downside to the mushroom is that you're left very vulnerable when you have this item. Unfortunately, it can't block red shells, which is very important. But the mushroom is a great item for getting ahead, and will almost always help you gain at least 1 spot if used correctly. Red shells are very hard to avoid in this game. In other Mario Kart games, such as Mario Kart Wii, red shells weren't very smart, so you could easily avoid them by taking a tight turn around a corner, and the red shell would just hit the wall. But in this game, while you can avoid them in this way, it's so much harder, and oftentimes it isn't even worth it. Red shells will track you down no matter what. The only consistent way of avoiding them is with items like bananas or green shells, or even other red shells. And there's another reason why this item is really good. It can block red shells, which automatically makes this item better, because blocking red shells is one of the most important things an item can do. What's better than 1 green shell? 3 of them. I already said that the Boomerang Flower is kind of like 3 green shells, but I also said that the Boomerang Flower is worse than a single green shell, because it doesn't bounce like green shells. So that's why triple green shells are in my top 10 items. Triple greens just have so many options. They can usually hit someone because you get to throw 3 shells, they work really well as defense against other racers and other items, and 3 green shells circling around you will generally keep people from going near your cart. It may be a rare item to get, but the Super Horn is one of the best new items that Mario Kart has seen since Double Dash. For the first time, there's a designated item to dodge a blue shell. Dodging a blue shell hasn't been possible in the past, well, not intentionally anyways. Not only can this item dodge blue shells, it can also dodge red shells, although it feels pretty wasteful to waste such a powerful item on a red shell. And finally, this item can also hit anyone who is within close range of you. This item has a lot of options, but the fact that it's so rare means that it doesn't get used very much, and that's why it's not higher on this list. It might seem strange to have such a powerful item so low on this list, but that's just because I don't think that the golden mushroom is very useful in that many situations. This is mainly because you can't control when it finishes. You get a lot more boost out of it, but sometimes, because of how long it lasts, it can prevent you from getting other items and actually slow you down in the long run. And in terms of shortcuts, pretty much all the shortcuts can be done with at most 3 mushrooms, so while golden mushrooms are very good items, there just aren't very many situations in which they are more useful than triple mushrooms. The Bob-omb is kind of an overpowered item to get in first place. The blast can sometimes block the entire road. It's just so easy to hit people with this item, especially if you're in first place. If you're in first place and you're looking to extend your lead, then just drop a bomb behind you and there's a pretty good chance you'll hit someone. Not to mention that bombs can dodge red shells. It's arguably the best item you can get in first place. I put it above the super horn, but I can definitely see why you might think the super horn is better. But the Bob-omb is not only good in first place. If you have this item in a middle position, you can throw it forward or backwards, and you'll probably hit someone either way. The Bob-omb is a great item no matter where you are. Well, unless you're in last place. The Crazy 8 seems like it should be the best item in the game because it gives you 8 items: a green shell, a red shell, a banana, a blooper, a bomb, a coin, a mushroom, and a star. Except it's not the best item. First of all, the blooper and the coin are useless. The green shell and banana aren't going to be much help to you since you won't be getting this item in first or second place. The mushroom is too hard to use when you want it to take a shortcut because of all the items circling around you, and then we're left with the bomb and the star, which seem like the only good items you get from this, right? Well, actually, no, because if someone runs into the bomb or an item hits it, it blows up along with you and all your other items. That leaves us with only the star as the useful part of this item, and the star can be stolen if someone drives into it. So you may ask why this item is still in the top 10. Well, because getting this item basically means getting a star with a bunch of other inconveniences. This item is just a star but worse. The Crazy 8 is a bad item, but the star is not a bad item, so that makes this item good. It's a good thing this item is so rare. It feels a little weird putting triple mushrooms above the golden mushroom, and I agree that if you're in last place and pull some triple mushrooms, you're gonna be pretty disappointed. The reason that triple mushrooms are higher on this list is because you can get them in pretty high up positions. Getting triple mushrooms in 4th or 5th place, pretty close to first, can be a big deal. It gives you the opportunity to take 3 shortcuts if you save them. Whereas if you were to have a golden mushroom, you can't use it once then save it until the next shortcut because it's on a timer. Overall, the golden mushrooms limit your choices more than triple mushrooms. And if you want to get a new item quickly, you can use all 3 of them at once and chain it for a different item, something that you can't do with a golden. And in addition to that, you can bump into other players with your mushrooms and give them a speed boost. This may seem like something you wouldn't want to do, but if you do it on a difficult turn or a slippery course, you can really throw them off, potentially even making them fall off the course. What's better than 1 overpowered shell that never misses? 3 overpowered shells that never miss. There really isn't much to say about triple red shells than what I've said already. No matter where you are, if you have triple red shells, you can hit someone. It's actually a strategy to never use your triple red shells so that the people behind you are too afraid to go ahead. The star and the bullet bill are really the only items that are going to save you from triple red shells, but by far the most broken thing about triple red shells is that if first place gets far enough ahead, you can get triple red shells in second place. And because half the items you get in first place are coins, if second place is getting triple red shells, then there's pretty much nothing they can do to block it. Getting triple red shells is like getting a guaranteed hit on at least 1 person in front of you. If you're new to Mario Kart or just not very good, then the bullet bill will seem like the obvious choice for the number 1 item. But I have it at number 3 because even though it's the fastest you can go in Mario Kart, it only takes you on the path of the course, which means you don't use the speed to take shortcuts and you don't have control of how you drive the course. All that aside, the bullet bill is a great item. It basically drives for you, and it goes so fast that rivaling its speed is impossible. But I think that the Mario Kart 8 bullet bill is not as good as the bullet bill in other games, Mario Kart Wii especially. In that game, the bullet bill would have been higher on the list because it was faster and took better lines. Overall though, the bullet bill definitely could be the best item in the game, it just depends on how you look at it. And ranking these top 3 items was very hard, and honestly I could have placed these items in any order. The star may not take you as fast as the bullet bill, but it just allows for so many more options. You can take shortcuts with the star, and in certain situations, that can end up being faster than the bullet bill. You can also control your invincibility. It's easy to hit someone because all it takes is just to run into them. It also disappears from your item slot right when you use it, which means you can chain items with it, and potentially have 3 power items at once. Think about it. If you have a star and a golden, then use your star before an item box, you can get a bullet bill while using your star with a golden mushroom already in your next item slot. This is something that neither the bullet bill or the golden mushroom can do. And that's why I put the star ahead of the bullet bill. It just allows you to do so much more. It's not the fastest or the longest lasting, but the star is probably the most practical item in the game. And finally, at number 1, we have the lightning bolt. Why is the lightning bolt number 1, you may ask? Well, because when you have the lightning bolt, you have power over every other racer in the game. You control when they lose all of their items, you control when they have to slow down, you control when the shock hits them. If you're mean enough, probably when they're all flying over the giant pit of lava. The lightning bolt allows you to catch up better than any item, because it slows everyone else down, and if you use it before an item box, then you can get a power item while everyone else is going slow. You can be in a bullet bill or a star while everyone else has no items going half the speed they usually go at. Using the lightning bolt is like hitting every racer in the game at once. And that's the end of my list. Just don't forget that this is my list, and unlike the cart parts, it's not really possible to have a definitive ranking of every item in the game. So this is just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.